They've maintained their silence for months. Now Josie and Shannon Murray have been left with no choice but to speak out. With their grandson Gus's disappearance declared a major crime, they've lawyered up.
It'd be nice to see some sort of resolution, even if they find his body, like it's closure for the family, and closure for everybody, really,
Mr. I, has your client been formally charged?
I can't comment at this stage, I'm sorry.
What can you tell us about it?
Nothing at the moment, nothing that hasn't been already reported in the media.
Police believe Gus was either murdered or killed by accident and his body disposed of. They have a suspect, a family member who lives on the remote homestead where the 4-year-old vanished.
Police have officially designated the disappearance of 4-year-old Gus Lamont from South Australia's Yunta region as a major crime.
The Major Crime Squad do not declare a major crime just on a whim.
Detectives haven't revealed who the suspect is, but say it's not either of Gus's parents. The sinister twist leaving locals heartbroken.
An interesting legal question that arises is, if the cops believe a major crime occurred, what exactly is this major crime? What do they think happened? Do they think Gus was murdered? Because I don't. And if Gus did die in an accident, would that constitute a major crime?
I got nightmares in my head, I fear. Thoughts build up until I can't feel. My mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I got nightmares in my head, I fear.
Now, in a previous analysis, I suggested Gus might have been run over, for example, by a speeding vehicle. Could that constitute a major crime? Well, let's have a look at this AI overview. In Australia, a major crime often referred to interchangeably with serious, indictable, or organized crime, depending on the context, but that also includes just indictable crimes, right? Generally refers to criminal activity that is complex, high impact, or carries severe penalties, typically involving imprisonment for 14 years or more. Types of offences might include homicide, that's murder, but also manslaughter. And so when we're talking about manslaughter, that could include vehicular manslaughter. Vehicular manslaughter is a possibility here. But how about if Gus fell into an excavated hole? Now, if you look carefully, there is footage of a ladder going down a recently dug hole, and that ladder shows just how far that drop is. Look closer. That is a really, really long drop. There's also a trampoline right by the front door, and this almost certainly was for Gus. Who else would have jumped on that trampoline? Possibly Ronnie as well, but Gus in particular. Now notice just how short the distance is from this trampoline to this deep pit. And if you take it further, if little Gus was jumping on his little legs and he was tired of jumping, the little boy might have been a bit more wobbly than usual, and this may have precipitated a stumble or a trip into the pit. This one is tougher to classify. Is the homestead private property, or is it part of a commercial property, seeing as though it's a sheep farm? Also, is Gus regarded as a resident, a visitor, or a guest of some sort, since only one of his legal guardians are present, and of course in the context of his legal guardian being absent, remember his mother was supposedly far afield, whose responsibility is it then to make the area safe for children, if any? And even in their scenario, you might have a legal issue where if someone is left unsupervised in a dangerous area and then something happens, is there then a legal responsibility? Now, we've already seen road signs that appear quite new, warning vehicles to slow down in the area. And now think about it. If there are these safety measures outside the house, shouldn't there be safety measures around the house as well? Even if not, in a normal situation at home, if a parent leaves hazards lying around, or not even a parent, a companion, let's say, or a relative, and so let's say the hazard was a firearm or fireworks or a sharp knife lying around, or even poison for particular animals or plants even. And if this hazardous item was left around knowing full well that there are children running around, well, do they have any legal responsibility of care? Well, you would think so, wouldn't you? The firearm aspect is also interesting. If that shotgun we saw Grandma brandishing was left unsecured, well, what if Gus got hold of it and it went off? For that matter, what if Ronnie got hold of it and it went off? Could someone face serious legal liability for that? You might say yes, but would that rise to the level of a major crime? Now, my knowledge of the law, and especially Australian law, is somewhat limited in this area, but I suspect even if you take away the incident itself, whether accidental or not, whether intentional or not, even if you remove that aspect and you simply ask, is the concealing of a corpse regarded as a major crime? And I think it might be. I did Google it, and this is the response I got. Yes, hiding a dead body is a major crime in Australia and is treated as an indictable offence with significant penalties. Remember, one of the qualifications for a major crime is whether it's indictable, and this is. And it can include substantial prison sentences. The specific charges and maximum penalties vary across different states and territories. The severity of the crime often depends on the specific circumstances. Interfering with or concealing remains, does that appear to be the case here? Most states have an offence relating to misconduct with regard to corpses or interfering with human remains. This generally refers to the improper or indecent handling, moving or hiding of a dead body without lawful authority. Maximum penalties for this offence typically range from 2 to 5 years imprisonment. Then there's also concealment to pervert the course of justice. If a body is hidden to conceal the commission of another more serious crime, such as murder, or to impede a police investigation, think about that as well. Hide a body away to impede a police investigation, such as a search, the penalties are much more severe. In South Australia in particular, destroying or concealing human remains for this purpose carries a maximum penalty of 15 years imprisonment. It's interesting that it's in South Australia specifically. Failing to report, in some jurisdictions such as South Australia, a person who finds human remains and fails to report it to the police is also guilty of an offence punishable up to 5 years imprisonment. So if you think about the potential legal jeopardy someone might be in, perhaps something did happen with a corpse. Well, if you put up your hand and you report that, well, now you're going to prove yourself guilty of something that could put you 5 to 15 years in prison, even as a bystander to this. You could also have concealment to conceal the commission of another equally serious crime. It isn't necessarily a lot more serious. It might be something like someone running over a child by accident. So you see, we have to be very careful when we want to define a crime that we know enough to know what to include and exclude in terms of a legal definition, because right now we are very much in legal territory. I hope you found that analysis worthwhile. If you have, please do hit the thanks button. We'll be following this video up with the number 3 clue we all missed in terms of the Guthrie case, so look out for that. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys next time.